who is here with me in the studio. Epo, nice to have you.
Always a pleasure, Mr. Siri.
Of course, across is one man who knows Manchester United inside out. Yes, I can tell you that he knows Manchester United inside out. And it's Okwi Osakwe. Okwi Osakwe, of course, is a Port Harcourt-based journalist, well known here in Nigeria and across the continent of Africa. Okwi, nice to have you on Sports Extraordinary this hour. Okwi, can you hear me?
Yeah, good evening to you. Good evening to you, Cyril and Temple. It's good to be here. Yeah, good evening to you, Cyril and Temple. It's good to be here again.
Okay, well, the Premiership is bubbling and ongoing across in England, and is getting a lot of reaction from followers here in Nigeria. You know, we follow the Premiership very well, and so Manchester United is one of the teams that have a lot of followership here in Nigeria. But their woes in the 2024-2025 football season has become very worrisome. It is just about 24 games into the league. But Manchester United, like we've never seen before, have lost 11 of these 24 fixtures. You're a Manchester United follower as well. Are you worried as a follower of Manchester United first? Then two, as a sports journalist, is this the trend that was expected when Amorim took over the mantle of coaching at the club side?
Yeah, to your first point, even neutrals, because a strong United team is a strong Premier League, and a strong Premier League is strong England representation at the Champions League. So everyone is worried. United's fans are more so worried because it wasn't what we expected. Every game this season, especially after Ten Hag left, it's like a cup final for United. They struggle to match up against teams that ordinarily they would stream low. So it's worrisome. It's a worry for me as a United fan, and it's a worry. Second question, I no, not exactly, because Ten Hag was not doing well. And of course, you know what happens when you ask a manager to leave and bring in another. You expect results to change for the good. You expect performances to improve. You expect players to be up and doing. But unfortunately, it's not been the case for United since Amorim came on. I understand he didn't want to come in the mid-season. He wanted to come at the end of the season, but United hierarchy, asked him whether it told him it was now or never, and they had to pay that extra million just to get his club to release him mid-season. So it's not been what United fans want. It's really not. It's not what we expected from Amorim. But unfortunately, that's what it is right now.
Okay, still stay with you, Okwi, because we have to leave for this. Is just say Manchester United too old at Trafford? You remember the name of this, the venue of the just the home side is Old Trafford. But a lot of fans are beginning to say that Manchester United itself is now getting too old for Old Trafford, because there's no fear that we are coming to meet the Red Devils at Old Trafford anymore. Anybody can come into Manchester United home ground and take away the points. A few minutes ago, maximum point and scoring 2 goals against Manchester United at Old Trafford. And so, is United now getting too old at Trafford?
Well, I have to answer that question in 2 ways. Firstly, let me go infrastructure-wise. Of course, we have become too old for the stadium. The stadium has become too old. In past United teams, under the great Sir Alex Ferguson, some of the players who are in the side today would struggle, would not go anywhere near that United side. You and I are aware. We want to remember players like Wayne Rooney, players like Luis Saha, players like Carlos Tevez, Dimitar Berbatov, none of these players can measure up to these guys. And then, so you have to question the player recruitment at United. What kind of players are they bringing in? Are they bringing in players that, will, bring in the goods, or they're just bringing? Are they bringing these players to win laurels, or they're just bringing them to hang on to the league? And it's showing. You are 13th on the table. You know that the league table of your performance over the season, and 13th is exactly where United should be with the kind of performance and the kind of players we've seen, the kind of performances we've seen, especially at home this season under Ruben Amorim.
Okay, hang in there. Let me talk to Epo, who is here with me in the studio. Epo, there's a lot of problem right now in the United camp. Like he mentioned, they had to bring. Have not risen to the occasion, especially using goalkeeper Nana as a yardstick of looking at the quality of the players being brought in to salvage the fortunes of Manchester United.
Well, Mr. Cyril, it's really not about the cost of the players or funds not being available. It has more to do, I think, in my opinion, it has more to do with poor scouting arrangement, poor player profiling. What kind of players do you want to bring into the side? Where are you bringing these players from? What experience do these players have? What kind of football have they been playing? In what teams have they played this football? What's their mentality like? Are they hungry enough? Are they players who want to go all out to win laurels? Or you're bringing players who want to come and retire, retire at Manchester United? Because we know sometimes, it's a player's dream to play for such a big club. And when he gets to the pinnacle of that dream, when that dream is achieved, that's playing for that big club. Morale, there's no hunger anymore. So in the case of Manchester United, I think you have to do more with signing the wrong players, bringing on the wrong.
Well, we seem to have lost Okwi there, but I put that question.
I think he has to do more with
he's back.
Bring on the wrong type of players. We brought Anthony, for example. Anthony was brought on for close to 80 million. Performance was nowhere near that amount of money. Rasmus Højlund was brought in for close to 60, 70 million. Performance has not been anywhere close to that kind of money. We brought in Joshua just recently for about 40 million plus. And it's so, but we see players going to City. We see City bringing on players for nothing close to the kind of amount that United has spent. And these players come and they click on. So I think it has to do with scouting. And then again, maybe probably with the kind of system that they run at United. It's just it's a holistic thing that that needs proper heart surgery, just like Ralph Ragnick has said.
Well, let me get your opinion on this, Epo. Is it that the funds are not enough? Like he said, is it true that it's a poor scouting policy, or the players have refused to rise to the occasion?
No, I don't think it's about funds, because recently there was this statistic that shows that Manchester United are in the top five most end club as at last year. Okay, so when you look at the ending of the club, and of course you know that even a club like Real Madrid, a club like Manchester City, a club like PSG, and Manchester United seated fourth, yes. Arsenal, and then Barca. You just know that these are rich clubs, in Europe. So it depends on the policies. The policies, they are the element that makes a club who they are, and you cannot compare the policies that Manchester United are running on as compared to the era of legendary Alex Ferguson. And maybe the coaches that we've had now, they have less say as compared to the era of Ferguson. But I think that the policy is the bane of the club, and that truly has shattered the hope. So that even if the instability, even if another coach comes in now, you still continue in that manner. I mean, there's no difference with the result we have seen now and what we've seen before. The only tragic news is that this is a man that have done so well with Sporting Lisbon, got them to win 2 years ago, the league. So you compare that league and this league, you ask a lot of questions, but they felt like this man could just be that man that will change the narrative. Unfortunately, it still boils down to the policy and how the club is run.
Well, it's a difficult situation for Manchester United right now. Everything not working well. Like I mentioned to you, this is one of the worst seasons in the entire history of the Premiership in England. Let's hope that they can get better from it. We'll return back to Manchester United woes in a while. Don't forget, we are live. Of course, I'm sorry. We're following live actions coming from the Emirates Stadium as well, where Arsenal is taking on Manchester City. It is halftime, and Arsenal won. And Manchester City no goal or yet to score. We'll keep you abreast of that development in the short while. But for now, we'll take a break. When we return from the break, we'll bring you some more exciting stories. Don't forget, it is becoming more and more difficult for the adversary, the style bender, to survive right now in the mixed martial arts, and we'll get to know why it is getting difficult for him. He seems to have lost 3 games now on the bounce. That's really, really difficult for Israel Adesanya. A lot more to come your way, especially from Formula 1, where Ferrari seem to have made an inroad with a new driver. Details of this and many more will be yours when we return for a break. Stay with us.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
nobody's ambition is what
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and
I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics Today.
Welcome back, and Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network, and this hour will bring you up to date to the latest happening around the world of sports. Only a few minutes ago, we saw Manchester United was continuing Premiership in England, where they lost at Old Trafford by 2-0. And we've been x-raying what could have happened, and that's making Manchester United have one of its worst seasons in the Premiership in England. But first, we have to return back to other aspect of the program, and the Mixed Martial Act is our focus now. Israel Adesanya, one of Nigeria's best in the mixed martial arts business, though with some New Zealand nationality as well mixed into it. I've seen us give us a lot of accolades in the past, but in his last 3 fights, it has been 3 defeats, 2 of them coming, in fact the last 2 coming via knockout. What is happening? Is it age or loss of initiative? What could have led to Israel Adesanya losing again? Only a few hours ago in Saudi Arabia, we saw him lose to a Dagestani fighter. Okay, can you hear me?
Well, I think you will agree that when those victories were coming for Israel Adesanya, quite as popular as he is right now. But I think that with the popularity he has garnered, with the fame that has come with his victories, I feel like some distractions have also come with the popularity and with the fame. Israel Adesanya is, for me, I feel he's a little distracted. And of course, you have to also consider the fact that he's getting on in age. Someone jokingly asked whether it was time for him to retire. I think it should be considered, considering the fact that he's lost last 3. It's not the Adesanya that we all knew from 3 seasons or 2 seasons back. I just feel like it may be time for him to just call time on the spot.
Well, a lot of people think it's time for Adesanya to call time on his career in the mixed martial arts. This loss actually is very worrisome because if you look at it, this is the first time we are having Adesanya, without an Ultimate Fight Championship belt on the line in 6 years and in 12 fights. If not, we've always seen him, do so well and come to the ring with a championship belt. But now, having fought 24, having won 24 times in his career, 16 of it coming by knockout, it looks like he's on the other side of it now. He's had only 4 defeats, but the knockout is becoming one too many now.
And very worrisome, very worrisome. He started brilliantly in this particular encounter yesterday. Unfortunately, in the second round, everything came shattered, and not a good one. If you look at the way Imavov came into that fight, I think that something is missing. There is something actually just missing. He's not getting that click that we know him for. When you see the way he started in the first round, you think that maybe he will go gun blazing. Unfortunately, it looks like at the moment his opponent coming to the party, everything is just drowned.
But will you think that the fighter like Imavov, who does not have a very spectacular history or pedigree in mixed martial arts, who will beat the Israelis, the stylebender from Nigeria and New Zealand?
And that's why it's even more concerning, because look at the pedigree of people. He's
losing to now.
Yeah. And it tells you that something he's not getting something right, or somehow he needs to go back to the drawing board and ask himself a lot of questions. I think that he's joking too much, because it is a dent. Nobody would have believed that. A lot of person felt that, okay, somehow he will regain, back his consciousness, getting this fight. Because fighting without a belt, he's not known for that kind of, for this type of fight. But somehow he humbled himself to say, okay, let him get to fight this Imavov. And unfortunately, look at the way he lost. Imavov, but this is even one of the easiest Imavov has ever gotten, in terms of his recent career wins, and getting to win stylebender, a man reputed for, for his characteristic display whenever he's fighting. It just tells how bad this guy has fallen down the pecking order.
Well, the man who normally knocks out people is now being knocked out, and looking at it on the bounce now. I think I would join up with to ask that he calls time on his career. Well, okay, let's stay away from mixed martial arts and go to Premier League football here in Nigeria. It is getting more and more interesting. Results are coming, especially for some of the teams that are looking at survival. Kano Pillars playing at the Kano Township Stadium, or at the Sanya Bacha Stadium as it's been called, were forced to a goalless draw by Bayelsa United. Will you expect that Kano Pillars points, especially at this stage of the season, going by the way they ended the first round of the season?
No, not really. But I want to talk about Bayelsa United. The Kano Pillars. The beginning of the season and the first, as it is called here in Nigeria, I wonder why they use the language. And the first stanza of the league, Bayelsa United were really not doing well until a 3 ultimatum was given to Coach Ladan Bosso, and ever since then, he turned fortunes around, came to Port Harcourt, obliterated that long record of Rivers United not losing at the Adokia Simaka, beat Rivers United by 1-0. They devastating that very cherished record, and then went on to climb the ladder, and has found Bayelsa United have found themselves somewhere on mid-table. So kudos to Bayelsa and Coach Ladan Bosso. And then for Kano Pillars, well, yes, you could say you expected them to be challenging for the laurels. Kano Pillars being the sort of big name that they are in Nigerian professional league. No one expects them to be battling anywhere near the relegation zone, but I think they will still remain mid-table. I expected them to finish in the first 4 positions, the first 3 or first 4, maybe go to Africa, but unfortunately that's not the case, especially given the fact that a certain Musa came back and them, brought on his European experience. They have Rabiu Ali, my best all-time player of the MPL, if you ask me. Rabiu Ali, still starting his top at over 40. And so they have players, three former Super Eagles players, and they expect them to do much more better than they are doing right now. But unfortunately, Caterpillars, they found themselves where they are. But better kudos and more congratulations to Bayelsa United. I know and I hope that they're going to beat the drop with kind of form they are in right now.
Okay, Ekpo, Plateau United playing in Jos were forced to a 1-1 draw by Shooting Stars of Ibadan. Shooting Stars looks like a team that travel well these days.
Yes, I mean, Gbenga Gumbote truly has really revolutionized how things are done in recent time, and also coupled with good signings that gradually just, blended to the side, and that tells you a team with the way they are going about things. It tells that they really want to get some, maybe a continental ticket this time around may not be far-fetched if they continue to go like this, because when you travel away from home and you get result, it's just one thing clear that you want to get something. And Gumbote and his boys, I'm sure they're in for that.
Well, let's look at what is happening at Umuahia here. Abia Warriors have just beaten Akwa United by 1-0. Imama and Mapakabo seem to be getting results, especially in the second round of the second stanza of the league, according to you, Okwi. Is Imama getting it right at Umuahia now?
Yeah, for Imama Mapakabo and Abia Warriors, that win, interestingly, has pushed them to fourth on the table. And at the beginning of the second stanza, to be honest, I didn't think I would go anywhere close to the fourth of the table, because we had Remo Stars, there was Rivers United, we had, of course, three SC, and then we had Rangers of Enugu, there was Ikorodu FC. So, but for Abia, Mama, looking for a place in Africa. But much more worrisome, Mr. Cyril, is the form of Akwa United. So they hung on for too long with Baba Ganaro. But it took too long for them to fire the misfiring coach, as I'll call him, and then they brought on Ken Boy to try and salvage matters. But unfortunately for them, they've had too many poor games at home in the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. They've been able to pick up any wins. They lost last time out to Rebel Stars. I think lost again, had one draw to, I think, Bendel Insurance, and then they lose again today. So I maybe I'll ask you, Mr. Siri, whether they're going to beat the drop. I felt they were going to beat the drop when they brought in Kennedy Boboy, but unfortunately it's looking darker and darker for our. They may just use the MPFL, and if that is going to be the thing for the Akwa Ibom State government, and Dakar relegated, and this time if Akwa Ibom follows Dakar to the NNL, it means that there will be no represent the Akwa Ibom State government and Akwa Ibom State in the NPFL.
So sad that Akwa Ibom State government are getting it just starting late, because yes, we know the pedigree of Coach Boboye. He's won the league with two sides here in the Nigerian league, and it's surprising that he was not considered earlier on before when the season started. It looks to me like he's coming too late, but let's see what happens in the next few games. But Akwa United right now is languishing at the bottom of the Premier League table here in Nigeria. You talked about fourth place Abia Warriors now on the league table in the Premiership here in Nigeria. Okwi. Rivers United at the stage was at the top. They dropped to the second. Only a few minutes ago at the Dananyam Stadium in Owerri, lost to Highland FC by 2-0. What does this result mean on their placing on the table here in the Premiership in Nigeria?
Well, it's a serial. Rivers United right now, it's a heartbreaking situation for Rivers United. Coach George was brought on to take over from Stanley Eguma, and during the first stand, that first stand did so well. They did so very well in the first stanza, and we're getting results home and away. But ever since they lost that game to Bayelsa United at the Adokia Mercy Maka, they've not really gone on to achieve anything. They are away from as Nosaive. Their home form is nothing to write them about, and not nothing to write them about, not as expected from a giant like Rivers United, and that has culminated in their drop in form and drop down the table. But we hope that results are going to improve. Right now, about 7 points behind leaders Rebel Stars. I think that push for the title may just have gone. They may just have kissed that push goodbye. They should try and hang on to the third place on the table. Unfortunately, that also is in danger of being taken away from the Abia Warriors and the likes of Rangers International pushing down, and of course they also have Ikorodu. So they need to start improving results-wise, or else they may just have to say good to all the places in Africa. We still have 4 places in Africa, 2 for the Champions League, 1 for the CAF Confederations Cup, and then of course 1 that's via the league, and then of course 1 via the cup. So they lose those places, it may just be another year without African football for Rivers United.
Well, let's now look at what's happening on the lower rung of the ladder. Ekpo. Nasarawa United has just beaten Niger Tornadoes by 2-0, taking a step above Aqua United and Lobby Stars at the lower rung of the table. So they are climbing up the ladder. They are 17th place now on the league table here in Nigeria. Can Nasarawa United escape, especially with the kind of results we've seen them post a few minutes ago?
I think they are just 22 points. They still look like a team that we need to win a lot of games for them to qualify, or maybe escape. Because if you look at the difference between the good thing about the Nigerian league is that you win 3 matches and then you catapult yourself to somewhere very lovely on the table. And so it depends. It's a good start today at home. I hope that they can also get more results. If they do that, if they get 5 good results from now, then they'll be out of the relegation zone. But then anything less than that, they'll continue to swim around that area, which is not good for them. Let's
get back to the top of the league table here in Nigeria. Remo Stars traveled to Akure and beat Sunshine Stars by 2-1, successfully widening the gap. Okwi, Remo Stars, will you have expected them to be where they are right now at the beginning of the season?
To be honest, yes, I did. I expected them to challenge for the title, which they narrowly missed. They narrowly missed for 2 seasons now. They've, I think, last season, 2nd or 3rd on the table. 2 seasons ago, they were in the top 4. They've been consistent with their performance in the league. Being around the top 4 for the past 4 seasons. So I expected them to challenge this time around, and it's no surprise what they are doing. They have a very good form. Just like you said, they beat Sunshine 2-1 away in Akure. They also, I think they've had about 3 of the away wins already in the season. And in the MPF, if you do well away and you concentrate on your home or well on your way to winning the title, so not surprised at all what's coming from Remo United, from Remo Stars.
Okay. Gentlemen, we have to return because we're running out of time. We have to return back to actions around the Premiership in England. We told you how Manchester United lost at Old Trafford by 2-0 to Crystal Palace. And as we speak, it is about 57 minutes in the encounter at the Emirates Stadium between Arsenal and Manchester City. Arsenal scored in under 2 minutes of that encounter through Odegaard. And now, Erling Haaland has just equalized for Manchester City. Okay. Manchester City and Arsenal ongoing. Manchester City, are they gradually getting back to form? We know none of them. And just as I was speaking, Arsenal just gone ahead. It looks like a ding dong. Arsenal just got their 2nd goal. So as we speak, it's 2-1 in favor of Arsenal against Manchester City. But then, okay, the question is, Manchester City, are they beginning to find their mojo?
Yeah, what happened to them, after the first few weeks of the season, no one expected to get so low in their form. It's a surprise for everybody, for the coach, for the fans, and even for neutrals. It was they were I think gradually what has happened to them, I didn't think them to be near the top 4, but by the start to this, just before the game kicked off, they were at the table, and if they end up drawing this one, they'll concentrate on that position, and they may just push ahead, go ahead to push Forest out of 3rd position, and then maybe even just snap position. Yes, they are gradually coming back, but whether they are going to take inside to this season, I think it's a little far-fetched with the kind of football that Liverpool is playing.
Epo, Arsenal, they just went ahead after conceding it under a minute. They scored a second goal, and it's now 2-1. At the Emirates Stadium, it looks like Arsenal has been very formidable and prolific this season.
They have, but it's still mixed results. We look at the last 5 games they played at the Emirates Stadium. It's also least more to be said, especially if you want to be a title contender. Chasing a strong team like Liverpool that have been very consistent, in the English Premier League, somehow granting that result when you least expect. And so today, I think that they need to win this game to make a clear statement. The last one they played was not as lovely as it is, but anytime they play against Manchester City, it's always going to be a very tough one. Not even now that Manchester City looks like they're trying to have a mixed fortune coming back from their slumber a little bit. But let's see how far. If they get to win this match, then that will be a very clear statement of intent, having 6 points differentiating them and Liverpool.
Okay, master versus students. Pep Guardiola versus Arteta. What do you make of it in this tie?
It's been a David versus Goliath for a very long time. It's one win for Arsenal in 12 games against Man City, and so, but this season, with kind of form and recovery, City are kind of recovering, and so this is the best time for them to defeat them. Because I felt it was the best time for anyone. I think I still retain that opinion. That for Arsenal, they just need to beat City tonight, like Epo Tempos, to consolidate. So I see the apprentice getting another one over his master tonight. If Arsenal fails to do that, I think it's goodbye Premier. But if they do win this game, it's 6 points difference. But not forgetting that, of course, we have that one game against Everton, which if they win, will take the gap to 9 points. So Arsenal needs to win this one and then just keep pushing Liverpool for the title.
Okay, we'll still keep an eye on that before we leave the studio. But let's look at some other results from the Premiership in England. Okay, Tottenham Hotspur, to the surprise of a lot of followers at the beginning of the season, was one of the teams expected to be in the top place, at least within the top 4 European, competing for European places. But right now, they seem to have been, do I say, up and down in their performances. A few minutes ago, they did beat Brentford away by 2-0 after losing a couple of games. Can this Tottenham Hotspur, do I say, meet up the expectation of the fans and the neutrals at the beginning of the season?
No, certainly not. Especially if they hold on to Ange Postecoglou. I see that happen. For 2 reasons. One, Coach Ange, as good a tactician, is just too stubborn and too fixated on one style of play, and that has come to the detriment of the Tottenham side. That's one reason where they are. They play some very fantastic ball sometimes, but their inability to hold on to wins and to finish close-up games and to adapt to certain aspects of the game within the match is what has brought them to where they are. And coach is not helping matters, playing the same style, playing the same high line, and even when sometimes you are 2 goals up, 1 goal up in a game, you see coach managers bringing on centre backs or playing around with the tactics formation just to hold on to that one goal lead, but not angry. You're one goal up with a few minutes to go, and you see wing back bombing down the line. Tottenham is right now. We're going to keep seeing it to the end of the season. I don't see any changes, and I don't see them on to maybe probably the first 5 or 6 positions on the table.
It is 3-1 right now at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal seem to have scored another goal after Partey scored the second goal to Thomas Partey. But I take you on this result. The young boy Lewis Kelly that was recorded and rescinded is the scorer of the 3rd goal now. Okay, Arsenal midfield play right now looks what we expected of them. Anytime you see Odegaard, you see Declan Rice and Partey in that midfield, Arsenal have always won their encounter. It looks like it's going to happen like that again tonight. They've never lost any time these 3 is in the middle for Arsenal.
Yes, and keeping those players fit is good. one problem for manager Arteta, Thomas Partey. You know, he's had his injury woes, you know, in the last few months. But talking about Arsenal and Arteta, they seem to have concentration levels very high when they meet these top sides, and when they play against mid to bottom table sides, they tend to forget what's on the plate. But the thing is, for Arteta and Arsenal, if they can, you know, keep these guys hungry, keep them for the title, you know, keep concentration levels high, especially when they play against mid teams, they just might beat Liverpool for the title. But you'll see this Arsenal side play against Man City, win the game by 3-1, and in another encounter where you expect them to win, maybe when they play a Brentford or a Villa or a West Ham, the result is not as you expect, and the concentration levels are not as high as what we see today against Man City.
Ebo, we've seen 3 goals so far in 8 minutes in this encounter. What does it mean of the quality of the Premiership in England? 3 goals in 8 minutes.
I think that it does tell us how bad Manchester City, you know, is, and it tells how good, you know, a good side can be like Arsenal. Like you said, the midfield has been the turning point for Arsenal, and Lewis Kelly, you know, playing from the left, you know, full back. That tells you how the tactical rejigging, you know, from Arteta, truly he has learned so well from his mentor, you know, Pep Guardiola, and all this, you know, the dynamics to play when you play against a better side like Manchester City and a good coach like Pep Guardiola. You just have to be very flexible in terms of tactics, and that is what he's playing for Arsenal. Okay,
let me get, because you may just said something that trickled my thoughts towards that direction now. What is it about young players right now in the Premiership in England? Yes, Manchester United may be playing well, but Kobe Mainoo could be one of their star players of the season. We now have Skelly for Arsenal. There used to be Saka, you know. So many young players, you know, making the mark, you know, in their career, you know, calling for coaches to look in the direction of 18, 19, 20-year-old player. What does it mean from what we have seen so far? We've just seen a boy that was red-carded last game, rescinded, and he's come into a very big game like this and scored a goal at a very young age.
Yeah, it means there's a large pool of talented young players to pick from in the academies. Glenn Hoddle, while he was at England just before the 1998 World Cup, said about the setting with Michael Owen. Owen, 18 at the time, he was criticized for picking Owen in the final World Cup list, and he responded by saying, if you're good enough, you're good enough. And we saw Edison in his famous with the famous class of '92, 6 young boys coming to the team, and then they were told to his face that you don't play. But he you know, surprised them with that team who went on to win so many laurels. So I agree with Glenn Hoddle. If you're good enough, you're old enough. I've won for giving young players a chance. I've also cried about that, you know, in our league. I've asked for players to be given their chance, just young players. We spoke about that when Stanley Buma was coach of Rivers United, and when Coach Finidi George came on, we brought on a couple of young players. One of whom was doing very, very well. Scored, I think, with his very first touch in his debut. So yes, I start with Glenn Hoddle, not only with Man United and Arsenal, at Crystal Palace. There's a second Tyler Dibling, a 18-year-old, one of the best players right now. It's a left-footed Dibling who is just 17. So if you're good for me, you're old enough, and I think young players should be featured. And the MPL should mirror this. We want to see more of our 17, 18, 19-year-old lads in the MPL, players who have bright futures, players who can spark this league to be where it should be.
Well, thank you, Okwi, very much for joining us. This has been a wonderful session. We'll time, but we have to run out of the studio now. We'll continue tomorrow on our program Sports Talk, and when we'll take a detailed look at what's happening around the world from the Premiership here in Nigeria across to the other top 5 leagues. We miss it, especially tonight, where we'll have looked at the La Liga, where FC Barcelona seems to be coming strong, trying to close up the gap with Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid seem to have suffered this weekend. All of these details we'll look at on our program tomorrow at 7 a.m. Nigerian time. I'd like to thank you for coming through, and hope I will be here again to deliver on the very best of sporting stories across the world. For those of you watching back home there, it is still 3-1 in favor of Arsenal against Manchester City. Until we return tomorrow bright and early, Remain blessed. Stay with us and enjoy the rest of the programs here on Atlantic Television Network.